Okay, my friends, here it is. The Saturday morning live stream at the Garden Like a Viking headquarters, Zone 5/6/ the new desert. Yes, weeks and weeks without rain and blazing hot, bone dry, no cloud cover. It's just crazy. Okay, so many of you saw my last video, and we're gonna elaborate on that today. We're gonna talk about that and all of the upcoming things, all of the new content that's gonna come from that, and so I want to know from you guys, what aspects of this process do you want to see? Yes, in particular, and you know, I mean, contrary to the tone of the video, of the last video, it's the garden is still, thriving. I mean, it's still wonderful. It's not thriving. It's still great. I'm still eating from it every day. It's still beautiful. And there's tons of produce. By most people's standards, they'd just be like, oh my gosh, that's an amazing success. But to me, I'm in like a never-ending pursuit of betterment, and so it's just not the ideal setup anymore. Okay, so that's what it comes down to. But I'll talk about that here in a little bit. We got a lot to talk about today. So, yeah, see, Val says, missed what he said in the beginning. Yeah, most people miss the beginning of it. So let me do the sound check real quick. Cabbage. Okay, do you hear it? Do you hear it? So let us see here. We're going to adjust this thing. I finally got a stand for it. Okay, can you hear me? Good, yes, cabbage. All right, thank you guys. Freebird, yes. Wes, Donald, Hughes, Queen RB, Pam, Ever Faithful, Val, Heather Fox, Pilar, Kip Tap, Meyer Lemons, thank you. Yes, guys, Meyer Lemons sent a wonderful package. And a bunch of seeds. Yes, some really good seeds from Fruition Seeds, which this company has done a very strange thing. Actually, this company has really good genetics. They're pricey. They don't give you much in here, but they're good genetics, custom tailored for the North. But they've done a very strange thing. They are now no longer selling anything. They are gifting everything. They're giving it all away, apparently, in some way. I'm not sure. I think they just got tired of the business that her father started, and it's just too much for them, maybe, and so they're getting out of it because it doesn't make any sense. They're going to go to a gift business model instead, which I commend that, and I get it. I get it. That's ideal. But that, in our current society, that doesn't work. How are you going to pay your land tag? How are you going to pay your bills? So it's very strange. But anyways, they still have good stuff. And so Maya wrote a note. Yes, beautiful handwriting, like calligraphy. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but she gave a check for the walking onions, which many of you did, and I got them all just recently. Said, I would love some walking onions rounded up on the check because you don't like ravens. You know me well. You know me well. I do like ravens. It's not that I don't like it. It's just that the way, as far as, right now, everything, guys, we're at the ground floor of this whole thing. This is grassroots. It's just like the onions. It's just me and my uncle doing it. I don't have a website set up yet. I don't have like shipping, tracking numbers and all that kind of stuff. This is just send the money and I give you my word on a handshake. We'll send out the product. And so we send it as we get it, as we get the orders. And now the orders are in the several hundreds now, which is awesome. But so it's not that I don't like the Raven, meaning sending a check in the post. It's just that those are harder to keep track of. Those are harder to keep track of for me, and harder to deal with taxes, like the tax stuff. It's easier if it's just all on the PayPal, Venmo, or CashApp, right there. I can pull up everything. It's all right there. So I know a lot of you guys are like old school, where you're like, well, checks is the way it's always been done, and you just balance your checkbook and all of that. And that's great, but this is already a different sort of generation. We don't do checks, really. But that being said, thank you guys. It's all fine. It's all fine. So, so yeah, Meyer Lemon says, it's an extra step. I know. Sorry. It's okay, though. It's not a problem. I'm just saying in general, because it's so much easier to keep track of. But you do pay a processing fee because a lot of you guys are not putting friends and family on your, classification of PayPal, and so it charges like the dollar, for that. So if you try to put friends and family, and then we get 100%, of it. But anyways, it's all good. So yes, Argle Bargle says giving locally. Yes, that's really what it's all about. Meyer Lemon says, oh yes, they have a really weird gifting culture. Yeah, so I'm not sure how that's going to work. How are you going to sustain your business with no money? I mean, that doesn't, unless people are going to gift you money, unless they're trying to get into a different tax bracket or something. I don't know. Oh, it's a gift now. These, I don't know. But cabbage. So that was the sound check. And look, guys, just simple. It's good sometimes to just take it back to the old school, simple cabbage and sea salt. That's it. And remember, it's 2 teaspoons of sea salt per pound of cabbage. I'm going to have to relook that up. Never mind. Don't quote me on that. I'm pretty sure that that's what I was using. But guys, it's nice and simple, and you can eat it with meat and all different kinds of stuff. Let it ferment for about 2 weeks and then put it in the fridge, or however sour you like. You can leave it out for a long time. I've left sauerkraut out for months, but it just gets so sour that it's like not really palatable. It's not really desirable because it's so soured. So I like about a 2 to 3 week, maybe a month at the most, of fermentation, and then really slow the fermentation down by putting it into the refrigerator or someplace similar. Now, the next one we're going to do when we harvest these fall cabbages that are out there is going to be cabbage and sea salt, but also garlic, ginger, and some lemon juice. Oh yeah, it's super good, guys. It's going to be very delicious. So the yes, Heather Fox says, I can't wait to get my onions, but I still need to tiller up a spot for them. Yes, well, get it all ready, because when you guys get the onions, you're gonna want to plant them pretty quick. They're very, very hardy though. But the ones that I did in the video just last week, or when I did that video and I went out there into the garden and planted a couple of them, they're already like 8 inches tall. I'm serious. I mean, they're an unbelievable plant. They're the most vigorous plant in the garden. So yeah, we will talk about the walking onions here in a little bit, because I know you guys have got questions. Perfectly fine. Lisa T says, my sons refuse to get checks for their checking account. I know, I almost do too. Like when you go to Costco now, guys, how many of you go to Costco? My mom still writes checks. And as soon as they're all moving fast and boom, boom, moving stuff real fast. Everybody's flowing through, boom, boom, boom. And then all of a sudden my mom's like, so how much is it? And she gets her checkbook out, and the cashier's like, oh, check. And they have to yell really loud, check, check. And then they have to get a manager to come over there, and it stops the line, and it takes forever, and they let you know that it's a really big inconvenience to them. So I always give my mom a hard time. It's like writing on a stone slab, or writing with a quill pen, dropping powder over it. Here's the document. It's just, yeah, so I just don't do checks because the electronic methods are so easy. But the thing is that they take a fee, and so after thousands of transactions, you've paid quite a bit in fees, but I don't know how to get around that yet. Cos 1658 says, I use cash. Absolutely. Whenever you can, use cash. Yes. I agree. In my day-to-day life, it's all cash. A lot of the time. Except now with the business though, I got a business account and a business card, and so everything can run through that. It's just the world we live in. I know. Teats Treats, $5. Thank you for the contribution, my friend. Says, I bought the teapot off your Amazon. Lavender is my new favorite ingredient. Can we get 3 ingredient suggestions? Ooh, yeah, definitely. Nice. Okay, so you've got that metal teapot, which coincidentally I don't have today because I'm still drinking my morning cup of joe, because I had a kettlebell workout this morning, which was fantastic. So it was all delayed. But so lavender, guys. So there's certain things don't really go good with lavender. You know, like well, you can do lavender and mint, really good. Now I've been really experimenting with the herbs this year in the sense that now that I'm very finely tuned to any kind of even the slightest mind or mood altering type effect, I'm very finely tuned to any of that. So I can now tell the difference between herbs even. So for example, catnip. I was drinking catnip tea this summer and I was just like realizing, man, I'd be with you guys. I'm like, oh, so today I got catnip and mint and lemongrass. And then I would drink it and then by the end I'd be so tired. I would have to go lay down and take a nap right after the live. And I would just be like tired the rest of the day. Well, I come to find out that catnip is a serious sedative for humans. And so that's only for like if we get sick. If you get sick and you need to sleep, drink strong catnip tea because it has a very sedating effect. Now, another one that I found out, didn't realize until recently, is lemongrass. Lemongrass has a very sleepy effect on it. Not nearly as much as catnip, but the lemongrass definitely has a lemongrass is more relaxing. I mean, it's relaxing in the kind of like, you know, it just doesn't stimulate you. It's the opposite of that. Whereas the catnip actually, your body you get body like, you know, where you're just deeply relaxed in the body. You know, that's what the catnip does. Now, my favorite herb for teas, one of the favorite would be chamomile. Now, a lot of people say chamomile has relaxing properties. It doesn't do that for me. So I add lavender, chamomile, and maybe a ginger or maybe a mint. It really depends on what you have, but you want to experiment. So you want to have the herb garden. So sage is a good tea, very good tea. Now you could add sage and lavender. You could add, lavender is a real particular one because it's so heavily used that people already have associations with it. You know what I mean? So I would say lavender is one of them things that it's not like a chamomile can go with mostly anything. The teas, because it's not overpowering. It's just there. It's like in the background. Whereas lavender, you add lavender and that becomes the in-your-face floral note. Yeah. So you want to be choosy with lavender. But guys, get you one of the, if you don't have one of these yet, in my Amazon storefront, I think I put a link to it. This thing was game changing this year for the chamomile harvest. This is a lot of chamomile, okay? And we've got another one as well. This is a lot of chamomile. Now, we would have never, in the past years when I was doing it by hand only, I'd have like this much. I mean, I'd have one of the small little jars full. But this year with this thing, oh man, you just go out there and then this whole thing is full in like 5 minutes. And so you can, and you can just let it dry in here if you want, but it gets kind of shaky. So you can just pour it out. And yeah, so if you don't have one of these tools, I highly recommend getting one. Technically, they're made for blueberries, but I've heard from people, don't have experience with it yet, but that this will really it can really destroy the plant of the blueberry. So we'll have to see. Chamomile, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because that stuff grows like a weed. Let's see here. Heather Fox. Yes. Okay. We will get to that in a moment. Let's see here. Lemon balm. Ooh, Queen RB. Lemon balm is also calming? Maybe, see, I was using lemon balm as well. But none of them have the same effect like catnip. I tell you that for sure. Catnip and lemongrass are the serious ones. Pop Herm says, I got the onions and seeds. All right, nice. So Heather Fox says, speak of the onions. I literally just got them. Thank you, Nate. Hooray. Yes. Congratulations. I will do that here in just a moment. First, I want to say thank you to Brian Airy, $5 via PayPal. Says, good morning, Nate and Tribe from my giant onion farm. So you must have got them onions, huh? Yeah. So I'm telling you guys, if you try and order Egyptian walking onions from some other place, you'll get like a little, like a little, a few of them here, and like 2 or 3 bulbs. At Baker Creek, 3 of these little bulbs are $18. Okay, so that is, like 3 of these bulbs, $18. You guys get a bunch of them, plus like 50 or 100 additional ones. So it's wonderful, guys. It really is wonderful how many you get. I mean, you can share with your friends and family and everything. Let's see here. Van Tigris. Yes, thank you, my friend. $5 via PayPal. Just for being you. Can't wait for Viking onions and love your knowledge. Thank you very much, my friend. Appreciate that contribution. Appreciate the contribution. And so before I start talking about the onions, though, I have to address something that I received last week. And I'm usually not about this kind of thing. But, I need to address it because it irritated me. And so, sorry. But, so this person who I recognize this channel, so last week after the live, okay, says, Nate, was catching the replay, but found it very focused on the sale of your onions. Had to turn it off after you didn't answer the question about mint planting with roses. Sorry, it just seemed off from your usual live streams. Hopefully next week will be better. So I read that and I thought, okay. So I have to address it because a lot of people ask me, when I talk to them about doing a YouTube channel, like I'll say something like, guys, you should start a YouTube channel. And the first thing people say is, oh, I could never deal with the comments. I couldn't deal with all the negative comments and stuff. And so you don't have to deal with them. You really don't. But here's the thing, okay? So even though I make a very absolute conscious effort not to waste you guys' time with like sponsorships from the videos, all these companies hitting me up every week, dozen emails a week on, hey, Garden Like a Viking, we want you to promote our product and we want to sponsor your videos and stuff. But that's just small time stuff compared to the tribe, the goodness of the brand. You know what I mean? And so so I don't do any of that. I don't promote any of that, And so the mentality is like, well, I'm not going to waste my friend's time. I'm not going to waste the time of the tribe and stuff like that with these trinkets and this little nonsense and stuff. But see, even that's the thing about comments on like social media stuff. It doesn't matter. You'll still get people like this that feel so deeply entitled to, you should be giving me everything for free. Only that's how this works, is that you should never in any circumstance on your own channel, on your own show, be promoting your own products. That's just unacceptable. Hopefully next week will be better. Okay, well, I'm sorry, my friend, but you can start your own show. Okay, you can start your own channel, all right? But on this channel, the only things I promote are gonna be my own stuff, okay? And so judging by the hundreds of orders we've gotten and the hundreds of wonderful comments, thousands of wonderful comments, people are loving it, okay? So I just had to address that. And yes, I'm gonna talk about the onions. It's my show, okay? And so you can start your own one if you don't like it. But this is what we do. We share the knowledge, guys. So the onions, okay? Now, yes, thank you, Kessia's Kitchen. Thank you, everybody. Teats Treats, yes. Kip Tap, no more Fiskars talk. No, sorry. No. Yes. Nate, the onion shill. Nate, the onion shill. What's that? So listen, guys, the onions now, they're going to start to, these are the ones from last week. Okay. Look, they're already starting. They were just laying like this and they're already starting to grow back. All right. Like this, boom. They're already starting to grow. Look how far they've grown. These things are unbelievable. So when you get them, you want to plant them as soon as you can. All right. But it doesn't matter. Don't worry that, When are they going to get there? Are they going to get there? Don't worry about that. When we receive the order, that we put you on a list. It's now several hundred long, but we're working our way through it. And so you will get them. And any time in the month of September or even October to plant the rowing onions is perfectly fine. Okay. Baker Creek just started selling theirs like last week. So, and they're going to sell them for this next 2 months and ship them. So, as soon as you get them, plant them out. Definitely. And keep them watered, and they are going to grow like crazy, guys. You're going to see these top sets like that. Now, you can pickle these top sets. You can pick them off and replant them. I mean, honestly, if you gave somebody just this and they started 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 plants, their own, they will never run out of them. I mean, they will have lots. So you guys are getting tons of them. Give them to everybody that you can. Just give some. That's what it's all about. Give them to everybody that you can. And also use them. Also cut them like this. These are good shallots. They're nice and strong and pungent. This one's already trying to regrow because I've had it in the refrigerator for like 2 weeks. Yeah. So that's the thing about that. Yeah. Yes, Pop Perm, he's calling you the used car salesman of onions. Ah, yes. No, sorry, I don't think so. Blue Wolf says, you see, you can't please everyone, so you got to please yourself. Ricky Nelson. Yes, that's true, guys. And when I first started the social media thing, it's like you get a comment like that and you'd be like, oh no, well, so then that means I should change. So maybe I shouldn't talk about that then. And then you get other comments and you try to change, based upon those comments. And then you lose track of who you are, of what you actually are. So the thing is, you just do, and this is what I do, you talk about exactly what your heart tells you to talk about, and do exactly what your heart tells you all the time, under every circumstance. And then people will comment about it, pros and cons and all that stuff, but who cares? It doesn't matter, because there's no way to just please everyone, and you don't even need to. You just need to be yourself. And then if you like it, here it is. If not, then go, So it's, yes, it is definitely a skill to learn. Okay. Hans Ketchup, how much are they? It's $40, and that includes shipping, unless you're in Canada, which Canada is $60, but we've only had a few of those orders, and they're currently at customs. So I don't know how long they're going to be there. If they're at customs for 2 months, that's going to be a problem. So I don't know. If you guys are anywhere but the United States, you can send us the money, but I don't know if they're going to we will ship them out. Definitely. We will do our part and ship them out. So there's a couple of orders that were addressed to Canada, but it has to be $60 because the shipping is astronomical to Canada. And even there was 2 of them to the UK. Guys, we can't ship outside of North America anymore, okay? Because, if you really want them, email me and we can get them to you. But we shipped out a couple to the UK, and it ate up the entire thing just in shipping cost. And so, we didn't know that going into it, so we'll just eat that. But for the future, I don't think the UK, that we're going to be doing that. And we don't even know if they can get through customs yet. So it might just have to be an American thing. When you guys come and visit the school here in the next handful of years, when we start all that stuff, there will be walking onions that you will take with you. Every person that comes to Valhalla, the school, will leave with walking onions and Tahitian melon squash seeds, which might also be renamed to something like Viking battle squash. What do you think? Queen RB says, never cater to small-minded people. That's exactly right. And yeah, exactly right. And once you know that what you're talking, or that your intentions are pure, it doesn't matter what any of that. You know that your intentions are pure, and so who cares? You let it flow, and just, if you're thinking about starting a channel, just start a channel. Don't pay attention to the clowns in the comments, because 99% of them are amazing support and love, that the positive energy that they pour out. 99% of them. But yeah, that's human nature to focus on that 1% sometimes. What? How dare they? It's what the ego mind wants to do immediately. But it's a skill to learn to just sort of let it go. You know, it's wonderful. So, AK Froggy, Viking underculture squash. Yeah, it's amazing how we had one episode where we talked about underculture, and now I'm hearing it everywhere. So, yeah. AK Froggy, did you get your onions? Because you were the very first. You were the very first that we sent out, I believe. And so, Hans Ketchup says the Canadians will have to wait for the onions to eventually walk over there. It's possible. I don't really know. Okay, Kessia's Kitchen. Nate, made my new brewer for my 55 gallons. So excited. I added my kombucha SCOBY and the garden loved it. Nice. That's what we like to hear. Pilar, right. If he wanted to only make money, you think he'd pick selling onion seeds? No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. No. But it's all part of the oh man, Mom Computer, that's right, says Nate, let the complainers get off here and go watch How to Grow 1,000 Pounds of Potatoes in a Plastic Bag. That's where they belong. That's absolutely right. And she's talking about the fake videos, all the fake videos that are out there. Tons of fake videos. And so, yeah, let them go and do that, you know. But like I said, that's just a tiny fraction of the people. But I get that question a lot from people. You know, how do you deal with the comments? That's the first question you get, really, when you tell people that, like what your profession is now. So the, Val Thatcher, thank you very much, my friend. $10 via PayPal says, hey, Nate, rodents are nipping my winter squash. Can the skin be sealed so once harvested, it'll keep till needed? If so, what would I seal with? Thank you, my friend. Planted the Viking onions yesterday. That's right. So guys, make sure that you join the Discord and make sure that you put pictures of the onions to the Discord, okay? We want to see the onions, all right? And I ordered some stickers because you just got to eventually do it. You just got to start doing it. And so I ordered some stickers that just say Garden Like a Viking, you know, basically, but just to see what they're like and stuff. So we might add those into some of the orders randomly. We'll see. But so the rodents are nipping at the winter squash. Now this is an unfortunate situation because typically they don't. Well, you don't want that, okay? But so long as it is still growing and green, it'll be fine. It'll actually be fine pretty much no matter what. It just won't store as long. If you got nicks in the skin, it won't store as long, but it will relatively heal itself, okay? It will relatively heal itself. So you don't really have to worry about that. So just let it carry on like normal. Yes. So guys, if you have sticker suggestions, let me know, okay? Of what we should put in the stickers. But we're going to start doing all that merch and stuff like that. We're going to start doing all that because why not, you know? And it's like when someone sees that on your, on wherever you put the sticker, it's like Garden Like a Viking. What does that even mean? They're going to ask you about it for sure. And you'd be like, yep, we're part of the tribe. Just don't worry about it. Let's see here. So the, yeah, Cinnamon Bear says, Big Will Dog, I can't believe how many people are still into electroculture. Yeah, I mean, is it not amazing? The whole internet was obsessed. The whole gardening community was obsessed with electroculture last year. Even a couple of mainstream channels, people that understand the soil food web and stuff, I just couldn't believe it, was promoting it. Mark from I Am Organic Gardening, who is very knowledgeable about the soil food web and all that, was somehow, as soon as electroculture came, he was like promoting it in some way. And I thought, what? Mark? It was like crushing, you know, at first, because I knew right from the very beginning, obviously, this is a hoax, obviously. But he did it anyways and just kind of pittered out and never really showed any results kind of video. Of course not, because there are none, just kind of let it die off, so okay, I get it. Exactly. Mom Computer says, I'm part of the Garden Like a Viking tribe. Absolutely, you are. And that's what the stickers, we'll get some stickers. We're going to get some shirts. We're going to get some mugs, some coffee things, just things like that, so that you can just, but then I want to do some kind of giveaways where I'll give away some of the fertilizer. I'll give away some of the onions, give away stuff. If we like, I don't know, show the most public place that you could possibly display your Garden Like a Viking merch. Something like that. Big Will Dog, $5. Thank you, my friend. Says, if you really want to troll, then let's make underculture, #underculture, the electroculture of 2024. I know. And you know how easily we could do that? That's how the internet works. It would be shocking and it would be engaging if we all made short little videos. If we all got together and we said, hey, okay, let's all get pink G-strings and then go put them into our garden, real big ones, and put them into the garden, and then literally make like a 30-second short video about this massive success that we've had. Just go to your biggest, healthiest plant and put the underculture right next to it. And then take a picture and say, look what underculture has done. It would explode because people would be like, no way. This is incredible. And they would send it to somebody else. Look at this. And send it to somebody else. Okay, but they got to be dirty. Remember, they got to be used, okay? Here's the specifications. It would take off, all right? So let us see here. So let's see the... Now, some other things here. Let's see here. Patricia Johnston, $10. Thank you very much, my friend, via PayPal. Says, YouTube, thanks for the great info. Yes, you are very welcome. Thank you for the contribution. We got Nancy DeWalt, $20. Thank you, my friend. Says, how long will the onions keep in the fridge? Now, are you talking about how long will they keep to eat, or how long can you put them in a bag in the fridge? Long time to plant, you mean? Long time. A long time. Months. Well, I mean, probably months. I mean, they're so hardy. I've literally taken these top sets and just stuck them in the basement and forgot about them. And then the next year, just put the whole thing in soil and you get a bunch of onions. I mean, it's incredible. It's incredible. But if they'll stay, how long they'll stay for cooking? Well, this one's going on 2 weeks. At least 2 weeks, and it still looks just like it. I mean, that's definitely edible. Fresh, no problem. Good shallot. So I would say, several weeks, no doubt. Let's see here. Gary Smith, $30 via PayPal. Thank you, my friend. Says, keep the good work and great content. Yes, it will. Thank you for that support. And we will continue the good content because we are going to be tearing out the whole garden, guys. Now, like I said in the video, okay, things have changed a lot. We can't really rely on the rain here anymore, all right? Now, that's not the only reason, though. And the garden is still very successful. I just want to make that clear, that it's not like nothing is growing. We're still eating from it every day. I mean, look, we got these amazing onions, that we just harvested. My new favorite onion, the Rosa de Milano. Oh, my goodness. Better than the Weathersfield Red, in my opinion. It's sweeter. It's easy to eat raw. Oh, it's still very pungent. Oh, man. And most of them are about this size, which is actually better for me. Because once you get onions much bigger than these, it's like, well, what are you going to do with all that onion? That's too much for a single meal. So I actually like them to be about that size, because then I can use the whole thing. Because you don't want onions... They have a very drawing effect. Remember, I've said this before. That is why if you have a bee sting or any kind of sting, you can put a slab of onion on it, and it will literally draw the stinger out. It has like I forget what that term is called, but it draws things out. And so it does the same thing with odors and bacteria and smells, like from the refrigerator or from sitting out. It will absorb all that stuff. So you really want to use the onion fresh. That's why, people are like, oh, how do you grow big onions? Well, why do you want them that big? What are you cooking that requires 2 pounds of onion like in it? That's the thing. So yeah, the garden has done fantastic. I mean, look, we've made, 10 jars of these pickles so far that have been great. Let's see. Let's break the can. Let's break the, ready? Ooh, look at all that. Look at all that. Oh, they're alive, guys. They are super alive. Yes. These are the cucumber pickles. Very delicious. All that garlic in the bottom. It's also a good way to store the garlic. Fermented, very delicious. Yes. So you want to be making that stuff. All right. We're fermenting tons of stuff. Also, I mean, the garlic was a great success. Everything. We still got cabbages and Brussels sprouts out there. We got all kinds of stuff out there. It's still a success, but it's just not the way to do it anymore. Okay. So I was using, the rain and I was using manures, but I'm not using either of those two anymore. I mean, I will obviously use the rain, but here's the thing, and I'm going to make a video about it. So a lot of people have been like, hey, so about the new garden setup, because guys, we're going to tear it down to the soil and rebuild. If you haven't watched the last video, we're going to tear it down to the soil and rebuild from scratch. So you guys can see the thought process behind all of that. Now, a lot of people are recommending sunken beds and stuff like that. But here's the thing. We're not actually in a desert, and it's drought-like conditions the past 5 years, the past 5 summers. But that is, it's northern Indiana. That can change at any moment. So we're not going to do sunken beds, which I've done before, but then you pay for it because we can have a monsoon-like spring and summer. We can have that still. And so in which case any kind of sunken beds or waffle gardening type will hold on to way too much moisture. That's for places like the actual desert, where you really actually don't get rainfall. That's what that kind of stuff would be for. But here we have to have a resilient. That's what this garden is going to be. Maximum resilience garden. Okay, so it's going to be able to handle drought, no problem, but it's also going to be able to handle flooding rains, no problem. Well, not flooding, but like serious downpour of rain. It will also be able to handle that. It's maximum resilience. And that's what my system now is not so much, because you can't irrigate a whole huge plot like that. It's just not enough. I mean, remember what I said in that video, 1 inch of rain across 1 acre is 27,000 gallons of water. 1 inch of rain is just moderate rainfall for a few hours. It's like 1 day of moderate rainfall, moderate to heavy rainfall. And so that's not really much. 27,000 gallons as opposed to a garden hose, which can do between 250 and 400 gallons per hour, give or take. That doesn't even scratch the surface. I mean, you can put the clay here is so dry that at this point that it doesn't matter if I go out there for 5 hours and put a sprinkler, it's not going to do anything. It will, and I've done this the past several years, and this is how I know. It just doesn't do anything. Even if you go out there with a watering wand and you flood the stuff, it's not the same. It will just run down into the channels of the soil. It won't absorb into the soil. It needs that slow, the plants, they need that slow trickle, that extended period. They can't just have a flooding real fast, not with this system, not in the ground like that. So, and I've done that. Last year I did that. I ran the sprinkler for like 4 hours, hundreds of gallons, go out there and literally take one little scratch into the soil. It's bone dry. The top little 1/4 of an inch has got a little bit of moisture in it, but everything else bone dry still. So it's just not the way to do it. But the new way is going to be absolutely good for this. Okay. So now Spamosaurus says, have you considered hugelkultur for your new beds? You know, we had hugelkultur in California, and I was never that impressed with the productivity of it, with the fertility of it. I was just never that impressed with it. Now, if I lived in a place, see, it's all about different parameters. So if I lived in a place where I was never going to be able to water, potentially I would consider that, yes. But we are going to have water here. And so the ability to irrigate. And so therefore, I'm not going to need the hugelkultur. And so everything is about certain parameters. And most people, they get into issues by trying to, they see a technique and they think, ooh, that makes sense, or I would like to try that. And then they try it in the wrong context. They're trying hugelkultur in their tiny little beds and stuff, or they're trying hugelkultur in a way that it wasn't really meant for. It's meant big, long beds with lots of earth over it, and a diversity of plants, lots of perennials even. It's meant for different parameters, yeah? So here is, different parameters. Lisa T says, where can we find Italy Hill garlic? We're thinking about selling it. I mean, actually, me and my uncle were just talking, and I was like, hey, you know what? This stuff is literally $12 a bulb. It's like 40 something dollars for 4 bulbs, basically. So this might be coming. This is like 2 years from now, but it might be coming, because this is my favorite garlic that I've found. It is very pungent, very easy to peel, very big cloves. There's not a bunch of tiny little cloves that are hard to peel. The skin just slips right off these things, and they produce amazing scapes. So they check all the boxes for me. Now, I think you can get it from ufseeds.com. ufseeds.com. urbanfarmerseeds.com. I think, and they're an Indiana based. They're down outside of Indy, and so they are sort of a locally based, small company, and they've got the Italy Hill. I know Fruition did, but I don't think they have it anymore in their gift economy, which is great. It's great, but I just don't see how your business is going to survive giving everything away. So we will probably, it might be 2 or 3 years from now, but we will probably have, thousands of these. We might end up doing that. And then, of course, renaming it. Amino says, why don't you create content about raising animals such as chickens and sheep, how to care for them, and how to combat diseases? You can guarantee we will have loads of that content coming when the land arrives, when we arrive on the land. But for now, it's too much. We don't have the space for it. It could possibly happen, but it's not now. It's not now. So we will definitely be doing that, though. For sure. But that will be a different thing, because I've been involved with raising animals. In California, we had chickens and a couple hogs and some goats and stuff like that. But I've never been directly responsible for developing the system, so it's going to be interesting. So we will take all of the knowledge and experience that we have and apply that to creating the new things, but we will definitely be growing 100% of the animal food. We will not buy any. That's the parameter. We will never buy any feed for any of the animals. That's the parameter. Yes. And it's doable. Absolutely doable. Mom Computer says, Nate, winning sticker. I'm a member of the Garden Like a Viking tribe. You're invited to thrive. Ask me. Ooh, nice. That would be very particular person, such as yourself probably, that would then be able to, boom, be real personable and explain what it is. That would be good. Yes. But thank you. So yeah, guys, if you are watching this after the fact, just put suggestions in the comments for shirts, clever little sayings. I know, loyal to the soil. Stay loyal to the soil, my friends. That's going to be one of them for sure. But I got to get this first batch and just see how they look, and make sure that they're quality. We got to make sure they're quality. Big Will Dog says, Nate, are you looking to stay up where you are or open for another area when buying land? I wouldn't want to go any further south than we are now. I'm thinking the east coast of Lake Michigan in Michigan somewhere. That whole section. Pretty remote. Land is still relatively cheap because it's not prime farmland like all the stuff around here. And I love the heavy snowfall in the wintertime because we're going to have all kinds of sauna and ice bathing, thrive activities, retreats all winter long, yes. And then amazing growing seasons, yeah? But the south side of the dwelling will be a massive greenhouse, actually. And so there's going to be so much, oh man, a lifetime of content, and you guys can come to the area. It will just be fantastic. Okay, so everything that we're doing is I am single-minded. I'm focused entirely on that. That is the vision. Yeah. Let's see. Saul says, "Hi Nate, do you think we can use orange and lemon peels for compost bin?" Yes, absolutely you can. Absolutely. There's some kind of myth going around that you can't use citrus peels in your compost, but I've done it and I've pulled them out and I've seen red wigglers crawling all over that stuff. I've thrown whole grapefruit into there and just had it decompose. I mean, they don't really care. In my experience, the same with onions. They will eat onions. They will eat whatever, for the most part, But citrus peels, definitely slugs will devour them. So yeah. Let's see. Freebird says, Nate, I'm so happy you're not going to move far away. Yeah, I used to think it was going to be in Northern California because I love how wild everything is in Northern California still. Humboldt County, it's so wild still. And the rivers are crystal clear. And the rainy season for 6 months, it just rains and everything explodes in growth and stuff. But one, it's so far away from all of my family, which is here in Indiana. And for two, it's there's pros and cons to everything. They don't really have winters. They don't have like real winters. And I've come to love the winters. I mean, really, now that sauna and ice bathing is a regular part of me and indoor growing and stuff, I love the winter. And so it's game changing once you start doing things that make you appreciate the cold. So, yeah, AK Froggy says, for wild, how about the UP of Michigan? Definitely beautiful and wild, but the thing is that it needs to be within a 2-hour drive, give or take, of an airport. And not like an airstrip, but like an airport with regular service, because there will be people coming from all over the place. It's not just me wanting to move off to the sticks. It's because I did that in Northern California. We were 5 hours north of San Francisco. Okay, still 2 hours from the Oregon border, but it was just so far out that it was just hard to do anything. I mean, you really couldn't. You just had to. It's a whole different way of living. Off grid, several hours from the closest Walmart was 2.5 hours away. For perspective, in Eureka, and so it's like, oh man. It's just a whole different life. And so, and no internet service out there and stuff. I didn't sign on to social media at all for 4 years straight when I was out there, hardcore out there. And so there's pros and cons. We need to be more accessible because people are going to be coming and going all the time from the ranch. Yeah? Yes. So Alex Coonan says, Nate, when you say we, who's we? Just everybody, all the tribe. I mean, I use like the royal we, I say we as in me and the entourage, the people that are around us, the tribe, the us, because it's not just me ever, it's not. So yeah, so that's pretty much it, so, Meyer Lemon says, Nate, use the brown dried out onion leaves as a brown in my slow composter, but haven't mixed them in yet. Okay, or should I take them out of there? No, mix them in there. Mix them in there. In the slow composter, they will eat that stuff, guys. They will eat that stuff no matter what. I mean, if you just take your whole onion harvest and let it collapse in the soil, it will all get eaten. You know, the microorganisms, it's like a gardening myth. It's like a gardening myth that you can't put meat and eggs and cheese and oils into the compost bin. Now, here's the thing, and I've got a lot of questions about this on my easy compost video. So when we look to nature composts everything. A deer drops dead and lays on the soil surface, and that thing is decomposed by the end of the season. I mean, that thing is decomposed so fast. Even the bones by the next season are gone. And so, for the most part, you know, so the nature can decompose everything, absolutely everything. Now, the thing is, though, that putting meat and cheese and oils into your compost will attract rats. And here we've got decent sized rats. They're not the Norwegian wood rats from out in Humboldt County. Those were insane. But they are city rats, and they're pretty gnarly. They're pretty nasty. And so they're not something that you want. Can everyone hear me all right? They're not something that you want, okay? Alex Coonan says, when you were talking about Northern California, was this a group of friends? How did you get involved to move all the way out to California from Indiana? Yeah, because I was traveling and I became a scuba diving instructor in Thailand. And I met a guy there that owned a diving shop in Greece. And so he invited me to be one of his instructors at his dive shop in Greece. And so I took that offer. This is over the course of several years. I took that offer and went there. And then one of my students was a recent graduate from Humboldt State University in Humboldt County. And she was like, hey, we got this whole industry out there of growing these plants and stuff. And I was like, what? I just didn't believe it. Because at that time in life, I was still really into that plant, really into it. You know, so I'm not anymore, but I was at that time. And so that was just sounded unbelievable. Wild mountains, living the outlaw lifestyle. Wow. So I made connections with that girl, and then a few months later went by, and so I came back home, jumped on my motorcycle, and rode out to California. But I stopped and saw a bunch of people on the way. It took me like 2 months to ride. It was a dirt bike. It was a 650, a KLR 650 that I rode across the country. And then I found the girl, and she had a job for me, and I just got in with the people, and it was all history from there. So obviously a lot more was involved, but that's the nutshell of it. So you got to stay open. You got to stay open to the things, the circumstances that come. If I had never said yes to the guy that wanted me to be the scuba diving instructor at his place in Greece, and it would have never made me leave the island in Thailand, Koh Tao, you know, and it would have never I would have never met that person. Just all the stuff happens exactly how it's intended to happen. And I would have never gotten into growing. Terry Goody says, I've got a super chat towards the beginning of the show. Let me see. That's right, Jeremy Ransom, growing greens in the Emerald Triangle. Absolutely. Okay, I will scroll up there, Terry, in just one moment. Happy Dirt Dude says, when you say the Egyptian onions are very pungent, does that mean they are not like Walla Walla sweet onions? No, they are not. They are not like Walla Walla sweets. They are, just try them out. If you've ever tried a shallot, it's just more pungent flavor than a Walla Walla sweet is like sweet and sort of not as pungent. These, especially if you use some of that Viking granular fertilizer or any fertilizer that has the appropriate ratio of sulfur in it, or even some straight elemental sulfur. That's really going to help encourage them to absorb their sulfuric compounds. And that's what makes your eyes water, and that's what makes that pungency. So the Viking granular has got the perfect balance, of course, of the sulfur in it. So if you But if you don't have that, then you can just add sulfur to the actual soil where you're going to plant them. I do recommend that. And yes, you can top dress to them. Okay. Yes, you can. Dakit says, that's how you got into gardening. Funny how it works sometimes. I know, that is how I got into gardening. And I spent the next 8 years working there and traveling in the off season, and then working the outdoor season. But then the final 4 years, I didn't travel anywhere. I worked year round, the indoor and outdoor, 24/7. Every waking moment was all about growing. It was amazing. That's how I found my passion. I would have never known that had I not. I didn't know that was, some people are just naturally inclined to certain things. Some people are naturally inclined to be able to play an instrument. They just kind of get it and they can speak that language. Some people are naturally inclined to, play a sport. They just get it. They're just good at it naturally. And I found out that I am just naturally in tune with the plants. I just have a natural capability right from the very beginning. As soon as I was put in charge of the operation, it started to flourish. And because I could just naturally, some people are just naturally good at certain things, and so I just naturally could like read the plants and know what they want and make it happen. So, okay, I want to go up and see let's see here. Ooh, it's not letting me go up any higher. Ooh. It's not letting me go up any higher to see the other chats or whatever it is. But I did just see something. Someone said question in Venmo. Let me see here. I don't see anything in Venmo, my friend. But let's see. If you will, Terry Goody, if you will put the question, I will read it now. I will be on the lookout for it. It's not letting me go up. I'm sorry I missed that. I typically don't miss that, So, yeah. And Michael Lanning, I don't see anything in the Venmo. Don't see it. Okay. Now, there's a couple of... well, they probably gave them to me already. Never mind. So yeah, guys, that is how we got started with the growing and stuff. Yeah. Let's see here. So. Okay, we got Yvonne Hopkins. Yes, I got you for the walking onions. Yes, okay, good. And you give me the full address. Thank you very much. We need that full address, guys. Don't be messing around, okay? Let me ask you guys, if you have any experience growing begonias, because I had zero experience growing begonias until now. So my friend's daughter, who you've seen in some of the videos, she was given a plant at the end of the school year to take home and to grow and then to bring back just a few days ago, and they had like a contest. Okay. Now, when they sent it home, it was a begonia, but I'm talking, guys, this thing was like a little twig. It was just like one little leaf like this in a little pot that was like that. And it just looked sickly and ill. And I said, what? How long do we got? And they were like, she was like, well, maybe you can do it. I said, okay, I can do it. So I took the challenge. And so I give it everything I think it wants, but I don't know how to prune them. I don't know begonias specifically. There's like a whole cult about begonias. But so it went from that little tiny twig in a few months, so it looks healthy at least. And I was rotating this thing so that it's got, when I was doing my daily rounds, I would rotate this thing so that it is got plenty of sun so that it's not all lopsided. You see how the leaves aren't pointing in one direction? Like it wasn't left in one windowsill, only. So it's healthy, but we got beat. We took second place to a second year plant. That just doesn't make any sense. There was a plant there. The person who won, their plant was in its second year. So, of course, it was a little bit bigger and had more blooms and stuff. But whatever, we'll just grow ours. I'm gonna put this in the grow tent in the basement, and I'm gonna be feeding it, and I'm gonna be we're gonna win next year, okay? So I don't care what they're saying. But do you have any tips? That's what I'm asking from you, like in particular, typically older ladies like begonias and stuff. So if you've got some tips, is there pruning that need? I mean, I did prune some stuff. I can see already where I'll prune some more. But now that we have a full year, so have you guys overwintered your begonias, and how? Do they go dormant or what? Because I'm just going to put it in the grow tent in the basement and going to make this thing get as big as genetically possible, okay? So we're not messing around next year. Now let's see here. Okay, Michael Lanning, got you. $10. Thank you very much, my friend. Says, when do you stop harvesting your green beans and let them go to seed for next year? Okay, so that depends if you want the green beans to eat, or if you want to eat the beans, or if you want to just save the seeds. But you will, are they bush green beans or are they esmas? Yeah, so you probably have some begonia tips to give me. I could just imagine, right? So Michael, are they pole beans or are they bush green beans? Because if they're bush green beans, they're going to stop producing before long. If they're pole beans, they're going to keep producing pretty much all season. Okay, it's to save seeds. And are they pole beans or are they bush beans? Okay, Michael. So both bush and pole. Okay, so the bush beans, after just like 2 pickings, you're going to want to let them go to develop the seeds all the way. But the pole beans, you can let go. I mean, you can keep picking them for another till you're about a month out from frost, and that'll give it plenty of time. But it really isn't going to matter. Just don't pick them clean. So your pole beans or your other beans, your bush beans, just allow some to start to go full. Okay, that will slow down the productivity of the plant, but you're at about that point where in the next couple, we're still 6 weeks away. From frost, 5 weeks really, technically from frost. Although it seems like it might be early this year, I don't know, but it will, that'll be plenty of time. So I would say give it another good picking, okay? And then you could just let them go, yeah? But you're not gonna, it depends how many you need, how many plants you have and all that kind of stuff. So, but about now, you want to give them several weeks, yeah, before the frost comes. So let's see. Okay, so Terry Goody says, "Hey Nate, going dog, my friend. What will you treat your lumber with to prevent deterioration in your new setup? Can I use diesel fuel and old motor oil mixed?" That's a joke, right? Right? Well, now, you're talking for the vegetable garden? I would not be using diesel fuel and old motor oil in the vegetable garden in any way. So I didn't mean to be, if you're serious, that's fine. But no, I would not use that in any way whatsoever. So the thing is now with using the wood, and I'll get to that in a moment. But thank you everyone for the begonia tips. I'm going to go back after this is over. I'm going to go back and read these comments about the begonias. So the wood, when you do 2x12s, untreated lumber, of course, it's just going to not last forever. It's a 3 to 5 year thing before it could use replaced. So you just have to account for that. Now you can replace boards easily on raised beds, one at a time. You could probably get more out of that, but my soils, my operations and stuff are so biologically active that they will eat that wood away within 3 to 5 years. Yeah, definitely. So what am I going to do? Yeah, Grateful Ed says maybe torch the wood a little. I'm thinking I might do that, actually, on some of them. And we'll do testing, at least on the inside of some of them, is the torch method with the weed torch, which has worked really good in the past. And so it definitely can work really good. So I probably will do that with most of it. I've done that with several of the boards outside, and it does definitely give them a stronger coating. So Pilar says, on the island we used motorboat oil all the time on our fences. Oh, definitely. That works really good for things that are not in contact with your food producing soil. So yeah, I would not be doing that. That's why on the video that I made about the onions, guys, if you go to my Instagram and you see the onion video, I released that video twice because it did so good. Once last year and once this year. And it, between the two releases, has almost 9 million views. There's like 4.2 million and 4 point something million, like 8 or 9 million views. Okay. And so there's thousands of comments and hundreds of comments of people that say, are talking about the treated lumber. It says, man, this clown's using treated lumber. I would never put that anywhere near something I'm going to eat. And I'm like, guys, this is not treated lumber. You honestly think I would use treated lumber in the wood, in the food? The things that they treat that with? Absolutely not. You know, but yet still hundreds of comments about treated lumber. It must look like that on camera, but it's not treated lumber. So no, I would not use treated lumber. I would not use diesel fuel, motorboat oil. I would not use any of that kind of stuff. If you're really concerned about it, Terry, you can use, it's more pricey, but you can use cedar. I've had people that have had cedar beds for years and years. So that, because it's naturally like that. It's naturally resistant to certain things. And so, yes, you could use that. But pretty much just leaving it plain or burning it. Burning it is the way to go. Yes. Jerry Bates says black locust would hold up for 10 years. Yeah, black locusts sure would. That's what they make them fence posts out of, definitely. But man, it would be difficult to mill, difficult to work with, for sure. It's super rock hard, isn't it? I mean, yes, I know that it is. Rick says, my father did that for the fence rails, but don't use in garden, oil and diesel. Yeah. Yep. So the, let's see here. Donald Hughes says cedar lasts forever. Yeah, it's only like 5 times the price of, of regular wood, which is, fine if that's what you're, if that's what you know going into it. All right. So the amino says, if heat the compost to 74 degrees, will this kill Salmonella and E. coli bacteria without affecting the quality of the compost? What's 74 in Fahrenheit? Let's see here. 74. 74 C to F. 165. Now that's going to be like the maximum that you would want to let that stuff get to. Really, truly the maximum. But so many people are concerned with Salmonella and E. coli. I mean, I get that question a lot. And that has never in my whole life been even the slightest issue whatsoever. So I'm not entirely sure where that comes from or where they have huge outbreaks of Salmonella and E. coli. But I mean, using all this stuff and manures and all that stuff, I mean, we have E. coli in our system right now, but it's only when things get out of balance is it able to take a foothold. So I'm really not going to be I'm really not going to be that concerned about it. Yeah, I see you guys talking about it. Yeah, I know. You're not wanting to go over 54C. Argle Bargle says over 151, compost employees get yelled at. Right, right. I know. I mean, typically, yeah, over 145, 150, you don't want to go that hot, but if for some specific reason you're thinking 165 is, no, go ahead, go ahead and just see how it affects, see how it works. But typically, I don't. I like it to. I have it right now in the hot compost because remember, in cold compost you don't measure. You don't measure. But for hot compost, you measure it because you have to flip it based upon certain things. And once it gets above like 145, I'm looking to flip it. I'm looking to flip it. So, the Wayne Caroli. Okay, got you, my friend. We will be sending these out. Got you for the onions, yes. And Lauren, yes, $10. Thank you, my friend. I think we just sent out your. I recognize that name, right? Anyways, my squash and zucchini have the powdery mildew, but are still producing. When should I pull them? Yes. Okay. So, wait, Lauren, what is your screen name? Anyways, so my squash and zucchini have the powdery mildew but are still producing. When should I pull them? That's the thing, guys. At this time of year, things are going to just start to get diseases. They're going to start, powdery mildew is going to start to cover stuff. Blight's going to start to come to your tomatoes and your potatoes. Cucumber downy mildew and things like that are going to start to come to your cucumber plants. It's all going to start to kind of naturally decompose and sort of naturally die off. So that's just part of it, all right? Now, the powdery mildew, if you still need to get some production, you actually can just let it go. Let it go. It can get really bad, but the plant is still going to keep producing. So it should be fine. But if your fruits are covered in powdery mildew, then okay, then it's time. But you could try spraying with a solution of labs, real strong labs, like a 50% dilution. Just spraying it on the leaves of the plants. Yes. So. Yeah, so I feel a little bit okay. Terry says, okay, thanks. Okay, good. I felt a little bit bad, Terry, for laughing. I'm sorry. That was not appropriate. I was not laughing at you if you were serious about that, So that's not cool. But it just struck me as because no, we don't want to use that kind of stuff in the garden, okay? Karen/Wes says, question, end of season advice for walking onions. Okay, so you have some walking onions and it is the end of the season. Now, what do you want to do with them? You can just do nothing and they'll fall over and they'll just kind of grow. You just have to keep the weeds out. They can't compete with the weeds and the grass. They cannot outcompete that. But if you, so what could be good is if you want them to walk, you could put a mulch down and then put a mulch over them, and so that they can take root and so that they can start to grow. Now, you can cut the tops off at the end of the year, about now. You can cut the tops off, bust these apart, and plant new ones. Cover them with mulch. You can divide some of the bulbs, plant new ones, cover them with mulch. The whole month of September and into October is when you can plant these, all right, for best results. Now, if you're in the north, which I know you are, then you will want to make sure they're mulched so that they don't so that they don't receive too much cold, but mostly so that they don't dry out. But even if they do, they're going to be fine. Okay. Hogue, $5. Thank you, my friend. So says, hi, Nate. We're curious to know why you are referring to the walking onions as shallots. Are they garlicky? I think because of the size and the sort of, I actually have never grown shallots. Okay, so maybe I'm referring to them a little bit, but to me, a shallot is this type of onion that is really pungently concentrated flavor, but small. They don't get bigger than this. So like when you go to the store, those little shallots are real pungent and strong. Now, some people could say they have garlicky flavor, but that's subjective. And so, okay, Sam Potzik says he's saying they are garlic onion cross. That's going to be totally subjective, That's going to be totally subjective. Like, it's like elephant garlic. A lot of people think elephant garlic, it doesn't taste anything like garlic. And I'm one of those people. It doesn't taste anything like garlic. It's a totally different family, or I mean, a totally different experience. It's a closer to a leek, So it's really, it looks like garlic, but it's not really garlic. It's a vague. You could vaguely taste garlic, but not. It's not like this Italy Hill stuff. That's for sure. So yeah. So AK Froggy says they look like shallots and are much denser than onions. That's the main reason that I'm calling them shallots, because they look like shallots. They're not a green onion because they bulb. Although you can use them as green onions and they'll just grow right back. So that's why. They are shalloty leeks. Yes, thank you, Sam. Hogue says, I'm going to grow you some shallots. Okay, good. That would be wonderful. Yes, guys, hit the like button. Hit the like button if you haven't already. Hit the like button. Definitely helps. Yes, B. Hendricks says that Begonia contest was not a fair contest. It seems unfair contests are becoming more and more commonplace. Yeah, that feels unfair as well, because there were several other first-year begonias that this thing just dwarfed. I mean, they were just like this. Sitting next to this thing, they were like this big. All the other first-year ones were nothing like this one. But the second-year one, of course, had much more prolific. So we'll see. But I need to know, do they need the dormancy period? What is a good way? I'm going to put them in the grow room along with my Teats Treats Cape Sundew plant. So, Santani speaks. You are a kind gardener. Thank you, my friend. Kron says shallot often refers to very different things in different parts of the world. Absolutely. That's another reason that I'm probably using that, is because once you travel and stuff in different parts of the world, people refer to things in totally different ways all over the place. So it's now I wanted to talk about the garlic, guys. So it's coming time to be planting the garlic. Not anytime real soon, but between Halloween-ish and Thanksgiving, at least in zone 5/6. Thanksgiving's the latest you're going to want to plant it. Halloween, a few weeks before, that's about the right time. Now, remember, there's a direct correlation between the health and the size of the clove that you plant and the bulb that you get. So now we are taking the garlic and selecting good ones that will be for planting. And some of the winners that we're going to be replanting, because remember, you guys mailed me a bunch of different garlics. Several of them were kind of, well, you know, like the Killarney garlic was kind of, it was uneventful. It was good, but kind of weak, sort of like store-bought garlic almost. In fact, I might do a video review of all the different kinds of garlic. I am going to do a pepper review because I've got like 10 different kinds of peppers you guys have sent me that I'm growing this year. So I want to do like a review of them all. But the Italy Hill Giant is the winner, definitely, because it is really pungent, really easy to peel. I explained why earlier. Real easy to peel, and supposedly it stores a long time, so we'll see. Now, that's what I'm going to focus on growing a lot of next year. The German White is supposedly a really good storage. It's a little bit more mild, though. It's more just like that classic garlicky flavor, not as much pungent heat. The Italy Hill has got the heat to it, almost to where, because in order to test garlic, we eat it raw, of course. So just a little sliver, but you gotta eat it raw. That's the only way that you can actually tell truly what the garlic is like. So we eat it raw, and so we just cut a small sliver and eat it. And yeah, it's strong and pungent. But then there's the Spanish Roja, which is a really deep garlic flavor, but without that pungent, peppery spice that the Italy Hill has. But so it's not like it's whoa, garlic, but it's like, ooh, garlic flavor. Yeah, it's much more mild. So there is the one for that. So we're going to be replanting a bunch of the Roja. Okay, but the German White is going to be for planting as well. So we're still planting that, definitely. Primarily because it's a good all-around standard garlic, but it's not like a whoa, blow your socks off, but it grows big and it's easy to peel, and it produces a good, thick, delicious scape, and supposedly it stores all winter long. So we will see that. It's yet to see, but for all those reasons, and they're big, you know, because I don't like peeling garlic. You have to sit there and mess around with tiny little cloves and stuff, and I like them to be big and easy to peel. Yeah. So there's several different kinds, several reviews more. The Asian Tempest is another one. So I think we'll actually do a review video about all the different types of garlic. That's what we're gonna do. Ooh, Brian Airy says, Nate, can you give us a tour of your garden and what happened so we can use the knowledge? Thanks. Yes, that could be the next video, really. But see, like I said, most people are going to be like, wait, what? You're complaining about that? That's a beautiful, luscious garden. So yeah, I know, but that's still not, like I said, I'm always in the pursuit of betterment, of perfection. And so it can be better. It can be much better than it is. Although we're still eating from it every day. So it's wonderful. And so when I make that video, a lot of people are going to be like a little bit confused. But trust me on the it needs redone. Okay, it just totally needs redone. So Wayne Caroli says, you are the onion king, dude. I am so successful growing onions. Nice. So you had some good onion harvest this year, huh? Meyer Lemon says a garlic video would be fun. Yes. Yes, Queen RB says, I like Korean red garlic and friend's heirloom she saved over the years. Both big and easy to peel. Never bought seed garlic. See, I have the Korean red as well, and it was not impressive to me. It was not impressive. Again, totally subjective, 100% subjective, okay? But it was just not impressive to me. I want to have a couple different. I don't want to be growing 10 different varieties for the long haul. I want to grow like a really strong, pungent one, and a really sweet, flavorful one, and like one more that's in the middle. You know, so that's all. Now, Drew Healy, got you $40 for the Valhalla onions. Got you. Let's see here. Gotta make sure we got that address. Okay, we do. I will send those out. So guys, when you make the order, you get put on the list in the order that we receive them. Okay, so they'll all get sent out. Don't worry. So, the Argo Bargo says, Nate, are your tomatoes still great? Well, because it's been so many weeks without rain and just blazing sun, they're still producing tomatoes, yes. And the new growth is still wonderful. They don't have any diseases. They're still luscious looking. It's just that they're just dehydrating and dying. I mean, in the sense that they're just dropping all unnecessary leaves. So there's tons of dead leaves on them. But the new growth is still, there's no disease, there's no blight still. They're still wonderful. They're just dropping, they're just, you know? But it has made the flavor incredible. On these purple bumblebees are like fruits. They taste like fruit. They are so delicious. So you know, I have to keep this here because we're getting donations and stuff like that. Otherwise, I'm not about being on my phone while I'm on a live stream. You know what I mean? So if you guys have other garlic varieties that you really like, don't hesitate to send them to me. Okay, we will grow them. Yeah. AK Froggy says, German Extra Hardy is the only one that has been successful here. Any other recommendations for super cold climates? Anybody got recommendations? Rick says, would a wetting agent help you, Nate, for the soil? You know, I don't like to use stuff like that just generally. I really don't like to use that anymore. I pretty much just use the aerated compost teas and let the microorganisms saturate the soil. With properly made aerated teas, there's enough wetting power in it that you don't need to add the wetting agent. You know, wetting agent, in my experience now and opinion now, is really to fix disease or pest. It's really to fix things, or when you're applying something that need, you know, some kind of pesticide. But it's more about pest issues. So yeah, I will. I will show you probably in the next video maybe, but I'll show you guys the garden because it's not in any way like a fail. It's just that I mean all the practices are still working really good. It's just that it can be better. It can definitely be better, and I don't want to be out there with hours trying to water stuff and all that. So yeah. Yes, Queen RB says finding that same seed variety from different seed companies can be different. Soil health and growing climate make a big difference. Absolutely they do. Soil is everything. Yeah, the conditions of the soil, the nutrients, the particular what do they call that? The terroir of the land. You know, like what makes the same grape grown in certain regions better than grown in other regions. Queen RB says, yes, please, garden video before you dig it up. We will do this, yes. So yes, Don Padawan, got your Venmo for the walking onions, yes. So, Look to Nature says, I'm a tile mason. I would not use cement board in your garden. It degrades after a year and Hardebacker has antifungal chemicals in it. Okay. Duly noted. Let's see here. Is there anything else that we have to mention? Guys, if you don't have things like this, you know, you really want to get you one because we're going to start indoor growing before long with the mushrooms and stuff like that. So it's good to get you a gauge. You want to be able to tell. You can even put it outside. It's good to be able to tell because it'll help you fix a lot of problems. And then here in a few weeks, we're going to be inoculating some logs with different mushroom spores. We're going to use we're going to do shiitake mushrooms. We're going to do oyster mushrooms. We're going to do lion's mane mushrooms and probably chestnut and maybe another one. And so the log, if you guys want to do it with us, I will show you how to do it. You'll want to, the one that can do all of them really well is going to be hard maple. So scout out some hard maple logs that we will cut down here in like a month, you know, and they can be anywhere from like this to this, you know, and 3 to 5 feet long, 4 to 8 inches in diameter, something like that. They have to be big enough to handle, but just scout them out. And that way we will take them and then we will give it about a week. And then we will inoculate them. And I'll make the video on how we inoculate them and what we're going to do. Because then once they colonize and once they will produce mushrooms for several years. It's so easy to do. It really is. And I'm going to show you guys a new, easier way to do the growing the oyster mushrooms in buckets. It's going to be way easier, okay, than boiling it on the stove. So definitely stay tuned for all of that stuff. And Jerry Bates says maples are about 1% turned. Is that right? Already? It's because it's so dry, isn't it? But yeah, once they're about roughly 30% turned, we will take them. Okay? That's when they say is the best time. So guys, this is my first time doing this though, but Jerry has done it successfully, and I've been a part of other people doing it successfully. This is my first time doing it completely from start to finish myself. And so, well, Jerry's gonna help, of course, because we don't have a big woods here to take the logs. So Jerry will be a part of that video as well. And he has successfully inoculated some of his logs with the shiitake mushrooms, and they've been fruiting. So, it says you want to wait until the trees, about 1/3 of the tree leaves have turned colors. That's when you want to take them, okay? So be on the lookout, scout out hard maple. Also oak will work, okay? Oak will also work, well, not for the oysters though. Yeah, the best one is maple. So look for some maples, guys, and prepare to take them. Now, check out the links in the description if you guys want mushrooms, if you want grow kits and stuff like that. Use the code gardenviking or whatever it is. You'll see it in the description, because we get a tiny little kickback from that, so it's good. And we're going to grow a lot more mushrooms this winter, so I want you guys to be involved with that, okay? So just begin thinking about the place where you're going to have a little area. We might do a little Martha tent. Yeah, so that you could just grow mushrooms in a small area. They're so delicious and so good for you, okay? So that's what that is, guys. And Linda Rogers says, trees are dropping leaves like crazy in northern Illinois. Had a 3-week dry spell and now 2 heavy rains this week. Lilacs are blooming on bare bushes. Wow. 3-week dry... We've been having basically like a whole dry summer. I mean, these trees around here, you drive through, the grass is crispy brown and the leaves are starting to turn and change already way too early. But whatever. So let's see here. Guys, I think, okay, so here's a couple of upcoming things, all right? So it's going to be on the 14th. Oh, wait. Whoops. I might have double scheduled something. We'll have to see. So on the 14th, we're going to have to move the thing to, well, I'll talk to that later. Okay, I'll talk to you guys about that later. Yeah, never mind. Never mind. I got to get it more situated. So C. Rose says, do you water the same deep once a week, watering in flower? Well, that depends on many factors. It depends on the setup, definitely. Queen RB says, I'll be planting onions closer together next year. Too many were ridiculously big. That happens. That happens. Okay, guys. So that's pretty much everything. Thank you guys very much for using the link in the description to shop on Amazon. I can tell you guys are doing it because that revenue is going up, and that helps us keep the video free of sponsors. The whole channel is just free of sponsors and all that kind of nonsense. The only thing we're going to promote is our own stuff. And that's just occasionally, you know, and that's all a whole different thing. So I'm not going to waste your time with little trinkets and all these other Chinese companies trying to get into your mind. We're not going to do all that. But The flip side of that is that we still got to make revenue. So an easy way to do that is to just use the link in the description to enter Amazon and do your shopping. When you enter that and that browser window comes up, do all your shopping on Amazon through that. It doesn't matter if it's in the Amazon storefront or not. Anything you get on Amazon during that window session, we get the credit for. So that's an easy way to help us out. Matt from Shooting the Soil, Shooting the Soil channel, guys can check it out. And he is doing all of his business shopping for his tech company through the Viking links, which is awesome. Okay, so really appreciated that. And you guys can all do the same as well, okay? So Hogue says, thanks for putting up with me today, Nate. No problem, my friend. That's what it's all about. We're all just hanging out. I feel like I'm in a room with 250 of my good friends. So thank you guys very much. And we will see the Thrive Tribe on Monday at 10:30. We will be back this time, yes. And we will have a great topic. It will be dealing with illness on the path to awakening, yes. Lisa says, thank goodness. I have been using your link. I shop Amazon a lot too. LOL. I'm so thankful that you don't use advertising, and I am happy to purchase from you. Thank you very much, Lisa. With that kind of mentality, we'll just always be free of advertising. We don't need to, hey guys, I've got this great video, but first I'd like to thank the sponsor of today's video, Squarespace. On Squarespace, you can find blah, blah. Could you imagine me saying something? I would feel like such a, I don't. To each their own, and I can't say never, but very unlikely. The only thing I'm going to promote is my own stuff. Walking onions, the fertilizer, the book, the video courses. Once I figure out how to make video courses, I'm going to make like a master grower course. I'm going to make I'm going to come up with all kinds of things and do video courses. Yeah, definitely. So that's what we're doing, okay? All right, my friends, thank you very much for everything.